Alright, I'm back with another Destiny 2 video. Didn't know I was going to be having this conversation this week, but apparently I've sparked some debates about the nature of the Postmaster. It's kind of an extension of my ongoing war against blues and by proxy the engram system. This all started because, was it yesterday? I lost track of time. I think it was yesterday. I posted a tweet where I showed my Postmaster being full and talked about how I lost a stack of Ascendant Alloy that I had there because when I was running Nightmare Containment a bunch of times, like you would just start amassing Alloy because it's a possible reward from that. Lost a bunch of prisms, strange coins, I don't know, a handful of currencies that are stuck there. I was pretty mad because, like, I do normally keep an eye on my Postmaster, but that was after, I think, maybe 2 or 3 strikes and 2 or 3 of the Solstice EAZ runs. And I think this problem right now is amplified by Solstice because the EAZ activity is something that is like, you will get so much stuff. So you get your usual legendary and blue drops from just killing things in that mode, but then also you get something like 5 other drops at the end of that if you're converting all your leaves. So that's like a couple pieces of armor, a couple weapons, there could be some blues in there. I've seen planetary materials drop. A lot of stuff gets stuck inside the bonfire, so if you can't pick it up, it will go to your Postmaster. So you can just run a handful of those and your Postmaster will be entirely full. What I find really weird about this is, like, this is a strangely controversial issue among the Destiny community. Rick Kakis was replied to my original tweet and is like, just wait. He's like, whenever I talk about this, people are like just yelling at me for using my Postmaster at storage. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened, where, yeah, a lot of people are similarly frustrated with the Postmaster system like me. But there are so many people that have some variance of the pushback that this is your fault, like you're just like you're abusing the storage system and like you should be doing this and this and this. And there was a crowd that is like weirdly defensive of the current Postmaster system. I've already covered like the why of why the Postmaster fills up, because it's a combination of blues and things getting pushed into there if you don't have room to pick them up, or if you're not always deleting everything from your inventory every time. And then the engram system, which we have like 8 different types of engrams now, and if you can't slot something into one of those 10 slots, it will also get pushed to the Postmaster. So this is just kind of added up over time more and more. Your Postmaster can get filled really quickly. You will also only get a warning about the Postmaster, essentially, if it is already full. So by the time it will give you a warning in orbit now, which it didn't used to. But by the time I saw that warning, I had already lost my stacks of materials because those are the first things to get pushed out. I just want to push back on some of the like defenses I'm seeing of this, where it's saying that like you don't use the Postmaster for storage. I will say that, sure, for loot, I think it's a very bad idea to store, actual loot in there, like as storage. Like if you want to keep something, just take it out, put it in your vault. Keeping something in there, I've done this from time to time where it's like something that's like kind of good, but like I don't really feel like transferring it to my character and then putting it in the vault or doing it in dim. Like I just kind of leave it there sitting there for a while. If that stuff gets deleted, fine, whatever. But it's these stacks of currency and people saying don't use this as storage. Well, you don't really have a choice, because you can't transfer like a stack of Ascendant Shards or Ascendant Alloy or Prisms to your vault. Like the inventory system does not work like that. So you just literally can't do that. And so then the follow-up response people give is, well, just spend your currency. Like you should be spending your currency and you shouldn't be hoarding. Okay. I can maybe see how that's true for Ascendant Shards, because you can sync those into anything. I guess you can just start masterworking random pieces of armor or exotics that you kind of like, even if you don't think they're fully worth 3 shards at a time. But like, okay, fine, you can clear things out that way. Ascendant Alloy is different. Ascendant Alloy, which is the crafting material, the high-end exotic crafting material for the new crafting system, is different because you can't just spend Ascendant Alloy. if you want to use 2 Ascendant Alloy to get enhanced perks on a weapon, it's not the fact that it costs 2 Ascendant Alloy, it's the fact that it also costs 4,000 neutral element. So chances are most people aren't just going to have that lying around unless they have done really dedicated red bar weapon farming. So if you want to clear out your extra stack of Ascendant Alloy, it's not just like, okay, I'm going to decide to bite the bullet and invest in this gun. It's you also need to grind out, what is it now? Because you get 300 per 14 red bar weapons to get enough materials for 2 enhanced perks using 2 alloy. So like this isn't a just spend it kind of thing. It's more complicated than that now, especially with Ascendant Alloy. So I don't think that is the solution that people think it is. The other frequently suggested thing is just use dim. There are 2 things you can do in dim, where there is a button that just says collect Postmaster, which is fine, except if things are going to the Postmaster in the first place, because you don't have room in your inventory, it doesn't solve that problem. So you might be getting some things, but the extra materials you have, the stuff that are in maxed out slots, you still have to delete everything in your character and then pull stuff from your Postmaster. And like at that point, you might as well just be in the tower deleting stuff directly from the Postmaster. So that doesn't really help. The other thing here is farming mode, which is a thing that Dim came up with where it will keep slots clear in your inventory and just auto send things to your vault, which is it's a very smart system they invented given the constraints of what they have to work with. The 2 problems with that are you have to turn that on during like every session. So if you forget once, like this situation can still happen. And like I am someone who very much normally stays on top of my Postmaster, but like as much as I play the game, this is maybe the 3rd time I've lost a stack of materials, because like even if you just kind of blank out and run 1 too many strikes or whatever, once out of every 50 play sessions, like you're gonna lose something. And like it's almost inevitable if you play a lot, unless you are like literally alt tabbing into dim, literally every single activity you run, especially with like the EAZ stuff where you're getting 2 or 3 times the amount of loot you would normally. So that's not great. But then also farming mode in dim requires empty vault space, which is okay this season because we did at least get extra vault space. But previously this has been kind of a hard solution because like I don't really have the space in my vault to have dim throw a bunch of blues in it, because full vault space has been an issue for years before that. And a little better now because I still haven't maxed out my 100 slots, getting there, but that's I'm mostly like saving a lot of red bar weapons and stuff to spend all the alloy that I keep getting and need to not have erased. So I just don't think that all the defenses here of the current Postmaster system really add up, nor do I understand why people are defending the system in the first place. I'm not going to do a whole blues thing again, but like at baseline, if we were just talking about the Postmaster, it makes 100% no sense for blues to be sent to the Postmaster. There are many, many games that have lost loot systems, but they prioritize things. They will always prioritize higher rarity gear over like time. And the current Destiny system is it doesn't matter what you're acquiring, it only matters when you got it. So a blue item you get today will push out a stack of 10 Ascendant Shards that you have been amassing for a year just because it's timely. There is no like overwrite thing. So one of 2 things need to be done. Either blues need to never go to the Postmaster, which I don't know why blues go to the Postmaster at all in the first place. Like playing Outriders or playing Borderlands and like using their lost loot systems, when you open those, it's a bunch of legendary items. Like, and it prioritizes, if there are kind of lower tier items, it will prioritize, better ones. So like under that system, be like, okay, we save exotics first, then legendaries, but then these systems, they don't even go as low as blues, which in Outriders has blues, Borderlands has blues, and greens and whites. Like, you will never find those in your lost loot system unless you are like in the first few levels of the game where like a blue is your best item. So there's no reason for blues to be in there or to be saved ever. Second, fine, you want to keep collecting blues for whatever reason in the Postmaster, there needs to be some sort of priority system in there. And like this, again, people have been saying this for years, where a blue should never push out a legendary. A legendary should never push out an exotic. An exotic should never push out a stack of exotic materials. Like there needs to be some sort of tier priority system, and there is none. It is all based on time, which seems crazy. I don't know why this cannot be fixed and why it's not a higher priority. But then when you say that, you get like 30 people replying to you being like, oh, this isn't a problem for me. Like, you're just crazy. You just need to like go to the tower more, use dim better or whatever. Fine. Like, I will admit, like, I screwed up by not going to dim, like, in the last activity I did before it deleted everything. Like, I should have checked it a little earlier, I guess. But, like, mistakes will be made when you play, 100 hours of Destiny a month. Like, it's gonna, like, that's gonna happen just unavoidably at a certain point. So I don't get it. Like, I don't get why the Postmaster stuff isn't being fixed by Bungie. I don't get why people are so defensive of the current extremely, very clearly bad Postmaster system that exists and why people get so defensive about it. So I'm making this clapback video about why the Postmaster system is bad, and you can't make me feel bad for losing my materials, even though technically it's my fault, but it shouldn't be. Anyway, I will just have to keep staying on top of dim as much as I can, using the tools that we have at our disposal. Again, there does not seem to be any relief for this in sight. It is never discussed by Bungie, ever. The last update we had to blues is not giving us 2 blues after every activity, so that helped with things being auto-sent to the Postmaster a little bit, but that is it. So we'll see if this ever changes, and then if so, I can move on to a new crusade about something else. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.